This was the moment a birthday party Spider-Man nearly died within seconds. He dives into the pool in full costume, but when he comes up, the mask is completely soaked and suctioned to his face. He quickly starts panicking and trying to breathe, while the kids think it's part of the act and continue splashing him. He gets out pretty quickly, but continues struggling to breathe since he can't free his face. He essentially waterboarded himself since the mask had trapped the water, making it impossible to breathe. Luckily, a few adults recognized what was happening and helped him pull the mask off before he suffocated. Here's a creepy clip of a dog making biting motions at its owner whenever she turns her back. Each time she turns away, the dog stiffens, locks onto her, and snaps at the air. According to vets online, this isn't playful behavior, but hesitation mixed with fear or low-level aggression. Dogs are more likely to test boundaries if they don't feel watched, especially if they're anxious or unsure. It's essentially a dog working up to a bite without fully committing, and trainers say behavior like this can escalate if it isn't addressed early on. In April of 2026, at a Spada Park in San Antonio, 24-year-old Atharva Vyas randomly attacked a woman and her 3-year-old daughter. Witnesses said he grabbed the mother by the hair and threw her to the ground, forcing her to drop the child. He then grabbed the toddler and began biting directly into her face, causing severe trauma and knocking out multiple teeth as she screamed in horror. The attack only stopped when a bystander intervened and managed to restrain him until police arrived. The child was rushed to the hospital in total shock, suffering serious facial injuries and lasting psychological trauma. Vyas was arrested at the scene and is facing multiple felony charges, including injury to a child. According to the Department of Homeland Security, he was in the United States illegally after his visa was revoked, and ICE has placed a detainer on him. As of now, the motive remains unclear, and the case is ongoing as the child continues recovery. In Addo Elephant National Park, South Africa, a lioness named Josie went blind around age 12, likely from untreated eye disease such as cataracts or glaucoma. In the wild, that's almost always a death sentence since lionesses rely on vision to hunt and avoid threats. But instead of abandoning her, her 2 adult daughters stayed by her side for the next 5 years. They guided her using contact calls, flanked her while moving so she wouldn't walk into danger, and shared their kills so she could eat despite being unable to hunt. Thanks to her daughters, she survived like this until about age 17, which is already near the upper limit of a wild lion's lifespan. 2008, on a beach in Montauk, Long Island, New York, a bloated, hairless carcass washed ashore with no clear identifying features, quickly dubbed the Montauk Monster. The body was already in an advanced state of decomposition, likely causing the loss of fur and the distorted shape of the head and limbs. As photos spread online, some speculated it was an escaped or discarded experiment from the nearby Plum Island, home to a government animal disease research facility, or something connected to rumored labs in Montauk. Wildlife experts said it was most likely a raccoon or dog altered by decay and water exposure, which can strip fur and change how the skull appears. No official identification was ever confirmed, and the body disappeared shortly after being photographed, leaving the Montauk Monster unresolved and open to speculation. Ingrid Pitt, best known for her roles in 1970s British horror films, was born in Guszka Petrov in Warsaw, Poland in 1937. During World War II, she and her mother were arrested and sent to Stutov concentration camp, where prisoners constantly faced starvation, forced labor, and executions. At one point, they were taken into nearby woods to be killed, but managed to escape amid the chaos. After Pitt later became a recognizable figure in British horror cinema, she suggested in interviews that surviving the Holocaust gave her a different relationship with fear, allowing her to portray terror and vulnerability on screen in a way that felt more grounded and real compared to typical performances in the genre. Exotic Adrian Street was a major figure in British professional wrestling in the 1960s and 70s, building a flamboyant, androgynous ring persona that later inspired artists like David Bowie. In 1971, he was booked in a staged exhibition wrestling match against Jimmy Savile, a TV personality who would occasionally step into the ring for publicity. Savile was already rumored behind the scenes to be prolifically abusing children, something the wrestler was aware of. Instead of playing along, Street turned the match into something real, aggressively grabbing Savile and ripping chunks of his hair out in front of the crowd. Decades later, after Savile's death exposed hundreds of victims and confirmed him as one of Britain's most prolific predators, that wrestling match took on a much darker meaning. What seemed like a wrestling stunt was one of the only times someone openly confronted him, while authorities and institutions were ignoring or failing to act on the horrific abuse. According to serial killer Danny Rolling, here's a list of things you can do to avoid being murdered by a serial killer. Park your car in the light. Buy yourself a .38 caliber revolver. Get a permit to carry it on your person and keep it in your handbag where it's easy to get to. Buy some mace on a keychain and have it ready when you get out of your car. If your bedroom window doesn't have a screen, get one and nail it to the windowsill. Place a bunch of empty glass bottles in the windows. Get you some curtains. Buy a deadbolt and put it on your bedroom door so you can lock yourself in. Sleep with your .38 caliber revolver under your pillow. It won't go off by accident. If someone bothers you, don't ever let an attacker get control. Fight for your life. Scream as loud as you can. Spray mace in his face. Kick him in the balls. Scratch at his eyes. Pull out your .38 caliber and blow him away. Danny Rolling, also known as the Gainesville Ripper, murdered 5 college students in Florida in 1990, breaking into their apartments at night and targeting them while they were alone. He was later captured, sentenced to death, and executed by lethal injection in 2006. A 34-year-old orangutan at the Metro Richmond Zoo in Virginia named Patrick was given a royal cloak for his birthday, and without any training, he tied it around himself like a wearable outfit. Orangutans are already known for advanced problem-solving and tool use, but moments like this show just how far that intelligence can go. Instead of playing with it, Patrick used the fabric with a clear purpose. It's a small moment, but it highlights the level of cognitive ability orangutans are capable of. This orb weaver spider had nowhere to attach the bottom of its web, so it made its own anchor. With no stable point to build from, it picked up a small rock and used it to hold the entire structure together. Orb weavers are known for their precise, almost mechanical construction, but this goes beyond instinct. It shows they can adjust their strategy when conditions change, solving problems in real time. In this case, the spider effectively created a solution to the missing piece of its environment, creatively allowing it to hunt in a place it otherwise couldn't have. Why is he doing that, though? In Philadelphia, Tammy Terrell began suffering severe migraines as a child after reportedly being assaulted at age 11. By 17, she was in a relationship with 30-year-old James Brown, who she later claimed physically abused her. In her early 20s, she became involved with David Ruffin, who she also described as violent, with accounts claiming he once struck her in the head with a motorcycle helmet. As her career with Marvin Gaye was taking off, she collapsed on stage in 1967, later diagnosed with a brain tumor. Over the next few years, she underwent multiple surgeries as the tumor kept returning. In March of 1970, at just 24 years old, she died after a long decline, with speculation that repeated head trauma may have contributed to or worsened her condition.